I think I may have found my problem. I just took this out. So when I turn my crankshaft, that rotor button doesn't turn at all, any direction. So I think, because I think it's supposed to, like I say, I'm not a gas guy, but I think the distributor turns on that, right? Is that how that works? Yeah, look at that. Okay. Yeah, you can see that's moving. So that probably was not in that key. It was probably not in that slot. That's probably my problem. Let's hopefully that's it. What I just did, that rotor button wasn't freely turning, and I'm sorry I'm filming this on my phone, didn't bring it out, but it I had to take these pliers and turn it like that, and it clicked. So I don't know if something broke in there or what, or I didn't have something in there right, but now it looks like she's good to go. Let me put it back in and see what happens. That very well may have been it. Check this out. Now watch that rotor cap. See it turning? All right. Man, won't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be awesome? Holy cow. Okay, let's try it. I'm gonna button everything back up and see if that works. I'm in a group called Only 8 Ends or something like that. It's on the Facebook group. And there's a gentleman in there named Bruce who is like the guru, the 8 End guru. And he helped me troubleshoot this. And then another guy made a comment, said, "Are your points opening?" And that's really I said, well, let me go see what my points are, because I set the gap and all that. Well, then I started turning the crankshaft and realized that nothing was turning. And that comment in that group is really what the catalyst was for me to come back and check this out. Now we just have to see if indeed that was, that's obviously a problem, right? So I think we're in good shape. So let me at least see if we got spark now. We put a new battery in it. So the battery's charged. Should have everything. It should at least pop. Let's see. They don't have no fuel, but we can hear we should hear a different sound. I'm not sure. Okay. Let me take a spark plug out. All right, I should be able to lay it up here and have it spark. Let's see. I don't know if I can hold you guys and film this. Doesn't look like it. All right, let me keep investigating. Let me show you guys what I did. I went to Tractor Supply and got a distributor cap. And so I still don't have spark, right? Well, let me tell you my hypothesis, right? I don't know what that word means, but it sounded really good in that sentence. On my brand new distributor cap that I got, it has a little metal button, nipple in the center of the cap, which makes contact with the rotor button. Well, now just follow me. I'm gonna try to make this make sense. When I put the distributor onto the motor, the slot behind the distributor was not keyed properly, right? And so my rotor button was not turning. It was just stationary. So I took the distributor off, and you've seen that already. And I said, oh, look, I need to put it in the keyed slot. So I put the key slot in there, and the rotor button started turning. But what happened was that behind the distributor, that keyed slot was making the rotor button protrude. Well, that's why the distributor cap did not sit flush on the distributor, because that keyed slot was keeping that rotor button protruding. So when I aligned the key to the slot in the motor, that allowed it to go closer to the engine block, I guess you would say, which would have allowed this nipple to make contact with it and set flush on the distributor cap. I hope that makes sense, because now I don't know if that's going to solve my problem, but I'm pretty sure, because what I did was, let me show you what I did. This is the new rotor cap. And what I did was I took a Dremel and I filed that nipple down, because I was like, well, hey, if that nipple is what's keeping that rotor button from turning, I could just file it down, because I thought it was a manufacturing defect. Well, wasn't the case. The case was I did not have it keyed. It's a long explanation, I know, but I'm hoping the new one solves the problem. Let's get it installed. Let's see if we got spark. Put it back together. Now the real test will be if it indeed has spark. Get my trusty spark plug socket out. And if it has spark, then we at least got a better chance of getting this thing cranked. Try to set a camera up where y'all can see it here. Let's try that. Maybe that'll work. Turn key on. All right, here we go. Yes, sir. We got spark. That's all right. I had to pull out my best Watch West work diagnosis there. We got spark. Y'all, that is awesome. That is awesome. What a huge step. Okay, let's put the fuel tank back on it and let's see. Yes, sir. All right. So we got spark. So we need fuel, which we're going to do, air, which we got plenty of, and compression. Ugh. And then the only thing we have to worry about is like if the timing is off. But like I say, so we're just going to crank it up. And once I know that it cranks up, then we'll worry about, we'll go to oil change, we'll get the filters changed. And there might be some of you that say you should change all that before. And you'd probably be right. But I just want to make sure I get everything turned over before I invest in oil filters and oil, transmission fluid, all that stuff, or hydraulic fluid for the back. Okay, so we're... That makes me happy. All right, let's see if we can put some fuel in this thing. This was difficult last time, if you guys remember. We got a pretty nasty leak out of it. All right, see if I can remember what size that was. 7/16, was it? Indeed. So now we'll have to start making some fine-tune adjustments, you know, for like the throttle. Hopefully the governor's not bad. If the governor's bad, that's not good. If the governor's bad, that's not good. All right. Let's see here. Open this bad boy up. Yeah. Okay, I got to put some fuel in it. She's got fuel in her. sure that everything's out of the way. All right, she's got fuel in her. So here we go. Leaking like crazy here. Let me get. I'm gonna have to buy. Yeah, that's not good. Let me just turn that off. That's dangerous, actually. All right, let me dry this off a little bit. Get some of this fuel off here. You don't want gas doing that. That's not good. Fumes are pretty dangerous stuff here. We're gonna hit it with a little bit of ether just to see if we can get it to pop off. Try not to get too hot here. Oh, let me turn my. Let me mess with my. Let me try that. Nothing there. Does that mean my governor is not working? That shouldn't affect the... And it's leaking out the bottom of that carburetor. Why is that? Where's that fuel leak? That fuel is leaking from that... Is it that mesh? Yeah, that fuel is leaking out of that hole right there. Why is that? All right, let me Google that. Let me see why that is. And it's also leaking out of this bottom hole. I mean, the bottom bolt. But if you notice, it did sound like it was going to pop off there just for 1 second. I just got off the phone with an old timer that said you need to check that compression before you go any further. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go check the compression, and then I'm going to pull the spark plugs out when I check for compression, obviously, and see if there's actually fuel on it, on the bottom of the spark, the spark plug. Because if it has gas on the spark plug, it should be firing, he said. But he said it should not be leaking out the bottom of that carburetor like that. So he was like, something's definitely not up. So if I can't get, I'll check the compression. And if I can't get it, I'll probably take the tractor to him, let him work on it a little bit. Because I mean, I got to figure out where I need to stop and and I'm not, obviously, if I need to rebuild the engine or whatever, that's something for somebody that knows what they're doing. And I may or may not do that, to be honest with you. Not that I'm quitting, not that I'm not crying uncle yet, but we'll check the compression. If the compression is good, then we'll keep troubleshooting. But they're simple. I mean, they're simple engines. It shouldn't be fire, fuel, air, compression, and spark, right? Ain't that all we need? Okay, let's go get a compression gauge. Okay, we went to the store and got a compression tester kit. $50. Unbelievable. I also got these barbs. So I'm going to put that into the fuel line. I bought a fuel hose. And we're going to try that to see if we can get it to not leak. So let's break this out right quick. Looks like just your standard compression tester here with some adapters that fit into the spark plug. Spark plug, how you doing? All right, so it doesn't look like it's cosmic. What we're going to do is start with number 4. Now, from what I understand, you really need a warm engine to do a compression test, but I can't get a warm engine. So we're going to do it this way. Let's see if this fits in here. And from what I understand, you need about 100 pounds, 95 to 100 pounds of pressure. And if I see 75 pounds, somewhere around in there, that's going to indicate that we've got a worn out, basically a worn out engine. But like I said, the values, if the values change because the engine is cold, you know, I don't know how that works. All right, let's screw this down in here. Let's see what happens, Captain. Because we've got good spark now, and we got good battery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the compression tester on here and close the choke all the way, throttle all the way up, turn my key on, and see what we get. I'm going to let it spin about 7 or 8 times. That's horrible. Oh my goodness. Look at this, y'all. Look at that. That's not even 50 pounds. Oh. I don't even know if Marvel Mystery Oil will bring that back to life or not. That stinks. Ain't it crazy how excited you get when one thing happens, but another thing happens and you're like, that stinks. Yep, not good. Not even with, I mean, it didn't even go up after I spun it 3 or 4 times. But like I say, I understand cold engines will give you a different value. Let me write down these values now that I'm thinking about it. It was, we'll call it 48. See what this one says. That's disappointing, y'all. Like I said, I'm going to throw some Marvel Mystery Oil down it. But I don't think that's going to, when it's that low, will Marvel Mystery Oil bring it up 40 pounds? I doubt it. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. I mean, you can't help but to laugh because this. You cry if you don't laugh. Look. Moving on to number 2. I called that 23 pounds, by the way. All right, let's see what number 2 does. 50. Number 2 is 50. My goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. I mean, to me, obviously it's rings, right? Ain't that what that means? Rings. Piston rings. Oh, man. Can you hear the disappointment in my voice? Here comes number 1. Let's see what it looks like. Remember, if you remember, I made a video and I said maybe I'm putting the cart before the horse by not checking the compression first. Well, it looks like indeed I am. None. Zero. Oh gosh, how can you not have any compression? How's that even possible? This thing on? I mean, that's... Try it again. Well, that answers that question. Dang. Man. I mean, that's the worst case scenario, man. Worst case scenario. That sucks. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some Marvel Mystery Oil down it, and then let that sit for a few days. I'm going to turn the crank while I pour the Marvel Mystery Oil down it. Let it sit a few days, and then I'm going to try to pull it off and see if I can get it spinning fast enough to build some compression there. And if that don't work, I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but let's put some Marvel Mystery Oil in it and let it sit for a few days.